So it's been pretty interesting the last few days, to say the least. Y'all noticed a lot of volatility going on? Some crazy markets? Yeah, just a little bit. Like we don't like it's I think 3 times in history if we had 2 days go that far down and that far back up. Ripping fast. That would definitely be the word for it. Well, my name is Daryl Martin, and this is apexinvesting.com. And this is another Be the Sniper or Be the Target webinar. Today we're going to talk about simplicity. Okay, and we're going to talk about why we're going to talk about simplicity here in just a moment. First things, there's risk involved in investing. Know what you're doing before you do it. Speaking of risk, don't risk your money. Risk ours. ApexTraderFunding.com. We have a promo going on through March 31st. You can get 50% off any evaluation, and it's good for the lifetime of the evaluation. And the code is APEX50. So if you haven't checked us out, hop on and check us out. Sign up today. Again, don't risk your money in these markets. It is not what you want to be doing. So be aware. Like I said, we have volatility and speed going on, don't we? Especially in the mornings. Have y'all noticed just insane volatility? Choppiness, all that? Well, the first thing you need to be aware of is we're in what is called earnings season. So, did y'all know that? Is there anybody here who did not know that? It's okay to say you didn't know. Okay, we are in earnings season. It happens at the beginning of each quarter. About the second week in. Hold on, before we get to that. I'm trying to drag my screen, but when you got 12 of them, it throws a fit sometimes. I don't know what the wizard is. Okay. So, who would like to know what time earnings are coming out and when the big companies are going to release their earnings? Do you think that might help you? If you knew, like, Netflix is going to have a release at 4 o'clock and drop 20 freaking percent. Could that maybe impact you in your nighttime trading? Or another company's going to have earnings in the morning? Would you like to know where to find that information? Okay, so we track this for you for free. Every single quarter we update this news calendar. Sherry updates it for you, and she is awesome. And when you go in, and if you click on Apex News, let me go back just so everybody can really see it. So news calendar. It has the news that's coming up for the week on it. But more importantly, down here, if you scroll down, you'll see the earnings, you'll see the dates, and you'll see the times. So like February 1st, we're going to have Google. And its first earnings is actually going to come out at 4 o'clock. Do you think that's going to move the markets? All right, we had Apple. We have that coming up in 2 days at 4:30. So a lot of these are... Now, this is when the wire comes out. They may have a conference call at a later time. So if you try to look this up, I've figured out these times over the years. If you try to look them up, they may tell you a different time. But they're telling you the earnings call time, not the time the wire release goes out. And that's the important thing, is when the wire release goes out. On here, we also tell you what percentage of the index, NASDAQ over here and the Dow over here and NASDAQ over here, but what percentage of the index it is. Like Boeing is coming out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Is that going to have an impact if you're an early morning trader? It's 10% of the Dow. So if you weren't aware of that and Boeing released it, could you get your head chopped off? We have a lot of Dow traders in here, don't we? I know Lori's been calling out a lot of Dow trades when she can. Has everybody been in the room lately? I know there hasn't been as much the last couple days because it's been so fast, but has everybody been in the room lately enjoying Craig and Lori calling out trades? And Craig's out this week with some family stuff. So if you haven't been in the room in the mornings, you definitely want to be in the room in the mornings. So I call out simplicity trades, and Lori calls out a lot of what she's reading in the market. And you learn a whole lot. And if you can't be in there, I recommend a program called Bandicam, where you can set it to record, and you can record it while you're gone. And there's days we're calling like crazy. There's days we're barely calling anything. There's days we can't call because it's too fast. And there's days where we call out, 24 trades. Do you think you should pull up this list every day before you start trading and be aware of it? Yes. So again, how to access that, just log into the members area of apexinvesting.net and go down to news calendar. Okay? So another news calendar I like to use, I'm going to go over a few websites I like to use because this is so important, is forexfactory.com. It lets you know you can look at the next day, what's coming up. If you're trading crude oil, do you think you should know that crude oil is going to release the inventory report at 10:30? I know most of you don't trade crude, but if you do trade crude, you can get demolished. At 11 o'clock, Bank of Canada is going to have their press conference. They're going to do their rate statement at 10 a.m., and they're going to do a press conference at 11. Okay? But what's even bigger is the FOMC is going to release its statement at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And then 30 minutes later, it's going to have a press conference. So you're going to have an initial jolt from the release and the statement that's printed out. And then you're going to have another jolt from what they say. And that can last a good 30 solid minutes. So it is wise, unless you have a lot of experience and a lot of money, to stay out of the way. Okay? They're looking at anywhere up to 7 rate hikes this year. That's right, up to 7. Now, they may not be able to do it depending upon how the market is going, but everybody is very nervous about these rate hikes. Forex Factory is free. You're going to hop on there, and there's the news calendar. Another website I watch headlines on. I just have it up on the side. Now, you have to have enough screens to do all this, but you can always check it. It's financialjuice.com. That'll give you multiple feeds from multiple websites on the latest news coming out. It is very, very worth it. Okay, so everybody got that? Financialjuice.com. I know the owner of this company. He makes Tick Strike, which you can learn about on apexinvesting.com/Tick Strike. It's a extremely useful tool. And then the third website I use is zerohedge.com. And I watch it throughout the day. I review it in the morning. I review it at night. And it gives you all sorts of things of what is important to be aware of. Those are the only news websites I go to. Okay? You access the room on the sniper page. There's a link for accessing the room. All right, so everybody got those three? If you want to learn what Tick Strike is, me and Amar go into it in detail. Go to apexinvesting.com/Tick Strike. Okay? Or just click the link on the homepage or the members area. All right. So we got earnings coming out, which are rocking the markets. We got FOMC coming out Wednesday with the big rate hike. We got advanced GDP coming out Thursday, which is the biggest GDP number. It's the one that they haven't all calculated yet. So it usually surprises the markets, and GDP is the gross domestic product output. So if that number's below expectations, watch the markets tank. If it's above expectations, market can fly up. There's also Ukraine developments, which I, again, keep up with on Zero Hedge. So this is going to cause a lot of volatility and speed. Now, when there's a lot of volatility and speed, are you going to get a lot of trapped orders? I mean, just think about it. If it's flying, are you going to see a lot of trapped Xboxes? Are you going to have time to get into them even if you see them? So is it going to be hard over these next 2 weeks to trade sniper during earnings season? So some of y'all have already experienced it. Yeah, there's just not the trades, or when they're there, they're so fast you can't get them. Okay? Do we have a system that you can trade instead of sniper? Even with automation, Eric, it's going so fast it flies right past your limit orders. Yeah, we got simplicity. Now, it's moving big. Do you think I trade the same size? Like when I'm trading 30 contracts, do you think I trade 30 contracts when the market's moving 500, 700 points a day? Or do you think I scale down and trade smaller? Yeah, I trade smaller because it's less... What's the best word for it? Predictable. So, could you trade simplicity with 1 micro? Or 2 micros, or 5 micros? Yeah. Okay. So, I want you to be considering that. You can still follow along and see if there are sniper trades, but something you want to look at. Now, is it easier to trade simplicity if you have the chart on your own computer? I'm getting a lot of yeses. Simplicity is free in the room. If you're on the free trial, you have to be a gold member to get the chart indicators. If you want to upgrade, you can upgrade, and you can submit a ticket, and they'll give you your free time. So, like, let's say you're day 5, and you're like, oh, I want that. Sign up, and they'll give you, you won't be billed for another 60 days. Okay, but trying to trade it off of the room charts is going to be very difficult. And do you think room charts on a server are delayed when markets go fast? What's going to be faster, watching them on a server or watching them on your computer? So I highly suggest, and we have gold for silver pricing right now, that everybody do that. I do recommend using the trade copier to trade micros because you can trade it and it'll cross over on the orders. Okay? I'm not trying to sell stuff to you. I'm just giving, like, we're just talking about common sense. It's going to be faster on your computer. You're going to be able to trade it easier on your computer. Right now, the discount we have, Eric, is gold for silver. Yeah, so you just trade it on Sim, and then you use crossover to micros. I don't recommend trading on sim when you're trading minis to minis, but you can use it in sim to trade minis to micros. Do you need a data feed? Yes, you're going to need an IQ feed data feed to get the CBOE indices. So another big tip, some people are saying that their charts are delayed, they have issues with charts, etc. For this type of crazy volatility, make sure you restart your NinjaTrader and your computer every morning and give your computer time to load your charts. Don't sit down and be ready to trade in 5 minutes. Get up, start it, restart your router, everything. Okay? Before the trading session. And you don't want to start it and have it loading like in the morning at 9:30 when the markets are going nuts. You want to start it like at 8 o'clock. Yep, make sure you always reset your cache every time you restart. Okay, so y'all ready to do some simplicity review? Got a couple of you. The way you reset your cache is you open the Apex trading tool, you click NinjaTrader 8, and you click reset cache. Or clear cache. All right. Mark, we ought to have that in February. All right, so let's get started and let me get my, because if I don't do it, somebody always says something. Got to get my big old pointer, especially for this. Where is my pointer? There it is. There we go. Okay. So I'm starting here basically right about 8 a.m. That's when I was on this morning. So this morning it was going a little calm. Now again, remember, we're going to have Boeing tomorrow at 8 o'clock, so it may go a little nuts. So what we're looking for is we're looking for both of these lines to be the same color and angling down if red or angling up if green. Okay, so are they both angling down right now? Everybody see that? I want to make sure everybody sees what I'm talking about. And now we're looking for it to break the low by 2 ticks. Okay, we broke it, so we're in. We hit sell market, or you hit sell low if you're using Chart Trader. Be aware that when markets are going fast, if you have a slower computer, Chart Trader can sometimes cause your computer to freeze. If that's happening, use your market orders. Okay, now where is our stop? That's our first question. We know we're in. Where is our stop at? Who can tell me? Above the solid line of the setup bar, we will get out if it closes above that, and we put our hard stop 5 points above that. So if it closes above it, we're out. If it goes 5 points above it without before it closes, we're out. Of the setup bar. The one where they both had to be angling down for it to give us a signal. Does that make sense to everybody? There's a big risk on everything right now. So that's why I'm saying use micros. And you can choose how many micros you do by how big the risk is. So yeah, the risk on this trade, the stop would be basically 42.38. Plus 5 would be your hard stop. And if it closes above would be your early stop. Okay? Now that's if you took the late entry. Is there another entry on this chart? Yeah, there you go. There's an early entry right here. They're both angling down. This is defined as an early entry when they first change color. They're both angling down. So you get in if it breaks 2 ticks, which it did. So on this one, if you use this entry, where would your stop be? It initially would be 5 points above the high of the setup bar, and then it would be 5 points above the high of the next bar on an early entry of the solid line. So pretty much like 27 plus 5. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, now when do we get to move our stop down? So you got to know your entry, you got to know your stop. Now we want to talk about protection. So I got one person that knows. When the solid line, there you go, crosses, when it closes at or below the entry price, at the break-even price. Okay, so right now, we don't do anything. We just leave our stop where it is until it gets below it. Hasn't got below it yet. Hasn't got below it yet. Right there. We're pretty close, but not there yet. And now we're below it. Or at it, actually. So now you're at break even. Okay? You're up, but you're at break even. Now, what would be a target? And you really have to think about this when markets are moving like this. You can't just trail forever because they're going to reverse, aren't they? Aren't you going to see markets reverse? Like, have you noticed that? They reverse really quick. Sometimes out of nowhere. Yeah, it's a hard stop at break even. So we know they can reverse. Now, the obvious target is going to be the -1 dev. So you could just take profit there. Now, the not as obvious, but is right here. See all this chop right here before the -1 dev? It's about 4 points behind that. When you get to that, I would at least tighten up to the dotted line. Does that make sense? Where I see that there was a resistance? Everybody following me so far? All right, so we're watching the market. Okay, it goes down. It went within like a tick. If you were going to take it off at a dev and it got there and popped back up, are you going to wait for it to come back down, or are you just going to take it? Yeah, just close it. Don't worry about trying to make more money. It got within a tick. Okay? Now, it may keep going, but we don't care. Okay? Don't trade based on fear of missing out. That's how you lose a lot of money. Trade based what you see, not what you want to happen. So, yeah, rule of 1/3, I've said before, which is the best traders in the world make 1/3 of the trend. So, if you can pull that off, you're in the best of the best, just by getting 1/3 of the trend. If it stops there and bounces, then you got even more. You did better. Yeah, we're up. Let's see here. We got in at basically 42.11, and we're down here. Let's say we didn't get out till it closed right there, because let's just say it punched it and popped back up. 41.82. So about 30 points. Now it dropped down. Are we okay with that? Are you okay with not making another 30 points? Because you have to be. I would not use simplicity on ZB. An LRE before break even, do I recommend that? Only if you see it bouncing off of a level. Yeah, I mean, 30 points, $20 is $600. Man, but I could have made all that. Yeah, but you could have given it all back up. And one of the questions I talk about in Mind Mastery is, what will I do if I take this trade? How will I feel? What will I feel if I don't get out of this trade and it flies back up? Then I'm going to be, what is the first thing you're going to think if it flies back up here? What are you prone to think? If it gets back down, yeah, the explicative's coming in, then I'll get out. Right? Well, every time you think that, it has a real good tendency of just going the other way. Would you all agree with that? When you have to start, and I am not religious, but I am a God-fearing Christian, okay? And I can tell you, if you're praying, you're having a bad day. Okay? Because there's somebody praying on the other side. It's just like a sports team. There's somebody praying it goes up, and there's somebody praying it goes down. If you start praying, just walk away. Seriously, like, walk away. Because you're going to give all your money back. Okay? And I mean, I can't give you better advice than that. Like, walk away. Because I've been there. Don't put God on the line like that. Yeah, there's no promises about praying in the stock market. Okay, so let's see how this thing goes. Okay, now, if you didn't get out at the one dev, which you should have, but if you didn't, you would be out now because it closed above the solid line. Okay? So the ultimate trailing rule is, yeah, you trail it till it goes above the solid line, but that only works when markets aren't erratic. Now in the mornings, they're less erratic than in the open. Yeah, that prayer doesn't work either, George. Okay, what do we got right here? We're just going to follow through on these and see what makes sense. We have a long. Where would your target be if you got in this trade? It's not an early setup. It's still angling down on the first bar there. Okay, so if you're going to get in this trade, you're risking a lot to make a little. So the long entry would be on the next bar. Right here we have both angling up. It didn't break it by 2 ticks. Here we got both angling up. Goes up, and then you're out. Be very careful taking a trade into a dev, especially a one dev. It may keep going, but there's a lot of times it'll just crash on you. And I wouldn't even take LREs right here, because we're on this one dev. All right, now we got a short early entry. Did we break it by 2 ticks? Nope. So no entry. Got another short set up. Now we broke it. Okay, so technically you would be in this trade. Where would the stop be? It'd be right above the one dev. And you're out of the trade. At a loss. Now, do you think it was the best idea taking that short right below the 1 dev? So the first bar was right here where they were both angling down. Yeah, be careful on taking trades below the 1 dev. I mean, you can get those 2 dev moves, but they're rare. Okay? Exactly. You're going, where are you going short into? Michael got it. What are you trading right into? You're trading right into chop to the left side, right where it turned around. Is it important to look left when you take a trade? Is that something everybody can see? Can everybody see that chop? I mean, is that just me, like the Zen master over here, whatever you want to call me? Or is that something that you can see? Because it's really important that y'all can see it. It doesn't matter if I can, if y'all can't. So would that maybe tell you, don't take that trade? We're already down a dev. It's probably going to pull back to the 1 dev. How far is it going to go? So, no trade. Okay, now we got another setup bar to go long. Above the 1 dev. Now it's going to break out and go long. Right? That's what we feel. So let's see what happens. There it goes. Takes off a little bit. And you're not out of the trade. Or actually, you are out of the trade at a small loss. We didn't have a great target. But, again, let's look left. This is where it turned around. This is where it stalled. This is where it stalled and turned around. Do y'all see that? Looking left on the chart. And that's right where we bought. So I'm going through these as if we're taking them all, because I want you to look and see what's going on. Like here we had some room to move down to at least here. When we go back here, what's your target? Do you have one? I mean, you're either hoping it flies way up, but you're counting on the fact that this is going to be a rough patch right here. Exactly. Why don't you think it's going to go to the moon once it's above the dev? Because it just may chop around it for a while. All right, so let's keep going. All right, now we got an early entry short. Going into what? Right into the dev. How confident are you this thing's going to move? It's making higher highs, it's making higher lows. So do you want to take this simplicity trade? No, I wouldn't take it. It may work, but I'm not taking it. Didn't break the low anyway. All right, now we got another long. It's making a new high. Got a lot of chop to the left. Didn't break it. We're sort of glad we didn't take it. Okay, I want you to notice something. Notice how we're getting these really wide bands where the red and green are splitting apart. Y'all see that? Where the red and green are way apart from each other and they're different colors. That's where the word choppy market warning came from. That's why that indicator is called choppy market warning. It means the implied volatility and the price action are moving in two different directions. Yeah, wicks all over the place. Green and red are really spread out. Now we got a short. Where are we going to go if we go on this short right here? I guess technically it'd be right there. What would be the best we're hoping for? The best you're hoping for is the dev. And you're out. See what I mean about choppy market warning? Oh, I thought that was angling down. That's actually angling up a little bit. Either way, it told us that it was going to be choppy. Okay, now we got a long up here. Things are lining up. We got a recent high right here. So let's see what happens. Didn't break it. Not a setup. Not a setup. That choppy market warning told us something, didn't it? So when they're red and green and spread apart, that's when you really got your choppy market warning. Would I use the recent high for the target if there was enough room to get there? The choppy market warning is the red and green indicator. It's the simplicity indicator. If it was a valid setup and there was enough room to make money, then I would consider taking it. If we can get rid of this choppiness. Okay, now we're up here. We're near the high, the recent high. By the way, I usually have about an hour on my chart. No entry. Now we got another potential entry. At least everything's green. No entry. Okay, now that is a simplicity short early entry. What's the best we're hoping for if it works? The dev. Yeah, maybe like slightly short of that. Do you feel good about this being a runner of a trade based on all the chop that we're in? So should you take it just because it's a simplicity entry? The real key to simplicity is when not to take a trade. The real key to trading is when not to take a trade. This one goes a little bit and then comes back up. And you're out. So aren't you glad we didn't take that trade because we had all that chop to the left telling us to stay out of the trade? Are y'all starting to see this pattern? Like, is this? I'm trying to explain it, and it's hard to explain what I see. So I'm trying to help you see it, and I hope I'm doing a good job. Because I know a lot of y'all you're like, okay, it's simplicity. It's a simple entry. Take it. It's like, well, why does Daryl take all these great trades and I take all these crappy ones? It's like, because I'm looking left. So right now, if we get a setup, are we even interested? Okay, what are we probably doing? And we only have 10 minutes till the open. So in a good trade, I'm looking for there to be a trend and then a reversal of that trend. I'm not looking there to be chop and crap in my way. So now it's time just to sit and watch. Market's open. Boom, flies up. Boom, flies down. Flies back up. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's like 40 points in 30 seconds. Another 30 points or so. We're just sitting on our hands. Are we looking for a trade now that we're past the 935 mark? Are we looking to take this trade? No. Flies up, flies right back down. And I mean, it flies way down. The stop also would have been just massive. Now, this is a trade that I know some people in the room did take, so I'm going to walk through it. I took this trade. And this was a break of the low, and it was barely angling down, so it wasn't the best trade. But it dropped like a rock. Had a very big stop. I would not recommend most people take that trade because the stop is way up here. You can guarantee I'm trading smaller if I take it. Comes down. Dynamic magnet, out of the trade. Okay, now we could be looking for a trade up. Getting choppy. Dropping. We feel like it's just going to go all the way down. All right, now we got a long trade. Where are we going to at least tighten our stop, if not take our profit? The dev. I mean, that is 40 points away. It doesn't look like much. That's a 40-point move. See what it does. Still in. Okay. You rode through one heck of a pullback, but you were profitable. The trial does not have it. You have to upgrade to a gold membership. But again, you can get simplicity if you sign up for gold for silver. And we'll give you your free time on top of that. So you won't get billed for 60 days from your initial trial. No, I said to take your profit at that dev. You've made 40 points. In this market, do you think you could get back 40 points in half a second? How do you know if you're gold or silver? Log into your members area and see what it says. It'll tell you. I mean, could this thing fly down and wipe out your 40 points in one bar? With the speed that we have? So are you going to hold it hoping that it goes up to settlement again? You can use it on YM, ES, or NQ. I personally prefer NQ. But you got to be able to handle these drawdowns, which, like I'm telling you, trade micros. It doesn't matter that it's below the red line. It matters if it closes below your initial entry. So your initial entry was right here. You got to look at the solid line and see if it closed below the setup bar's solid line. It closed at it, but not below it. We'll post it on YouTube. Where can you get the recording? On YouTube and Facebook. And we'll post it on the webinar section in the sniper area. So make sure to follow us at facebook.com/Apex Investing and youtube.com/Apex Investing. So let's see what happens. So you stayed in and you just gave everything back. What are we seeing in the lines right now? Choppy market warning, right? Red and green. So are we getting into trades right now? No. We're just staying out of the way. All we're doing is oscillating around this freaking dev. Are we going to get in here? They're both angling down right there. Choppy market warning is the red and green indicator combined when they're both off. When one is red and one is green and they're spread far apart. Now, we got all this chop to the left. Good job, Michael. It does happen to go down. So what? Wasn't a good setup. Doesn't matter if it went. Matters if it was a good setup. We're trying to avoid the bad setups. All right, we're getting over here. Nothing yet. Okay, we broke by 2 ticks. Okay, so that would be a long, right? Mini magnets can be used for targets. Yeah, the stop is huge. Again, that's why we're trading micros. You're not going to have a choice but to have big stops. Now it went up to the 1 dev. What are you going to do? Just get out. It went from like 50 to 80. You made 30 points. And if you didn't, look what just happened to you. Let's see, nothing yet. All right, we got a simplicity short. So if we take it, where are we going to go? How far do we think we're going to make it? I'd say the wall. It didn't give us an entry till just now. It actually went down the dynamic magnet, somebody called. Could you have made more? Yeah, but let's look at this. You got in at 81. You got out at 64. You still made like 17 points. Okay. All right, now we got a long entry. Let's look left. Don't feel really good about it. This chop right here, this chop right here. Nope. I mean, if you got out the dynamic magnet, you'd have been okay. If you didn't, you'd have given it all back. Now we got a long. Still not feeling great about it. Didn't trigger. Got a long now. Triggered. So like I said, didn't feel good about it. Why didn't I feel good about it? Look left. This was literally an oscillation point right here. The market came up, stopped. Came down here, stopped. Came up here, stopped. That's right what we're buying into. Y'all see that? And I want to see at least an hour on my screen. So you want to adjust your screen so you can see an hour from left to right. And you got choppy market warning happening right before it. Okay, so do y'all see why I didn't like that? Is that obvious to everybody? Do you understand if you trade simplicity, you can't just look at the lines angling up or down. You have to look left to go, am I going into a lot of crap? Does this thing have a chance to move? Right down here, I guess we got another short. Dynamic wall, and then right into all of this crap. Yes, I mean, I'd be looking more for a buy down here to go up into some crap than I am to go right into it. Okay, so now we got a long. Actually, one bar back. But again, we're buying basically at the same point over here, right into this crap. Yeah, just look at it for the past hour. And that's like 120 bars. So do I like it? No, I don't. And look what happened. Okay, now we get an early entry short. Looking left. Not a big fan. I mean, if it's going to go down, it's going to go down here. I'm not a huge fan of it. Because again, looking left, this was an oscillation point. Right here, right here, right here, right here. It finally made its way down, but I mean, you went through a whole lot of pain in the process. If you go to sign up for any plan or product, you ought to see gold or silver in the top right menu on apexinvesting.net. When you log in, click on sign up for any plan or product, and you should see gold for silver. Okay, now we got a long. We're still going into a lot of crap. I just know. Now we got a long. Again, still going into all this crap. And unless you took your profit, like at some magical, you're like, okay, I'm going to take it at the ZOI or whatever, then you just gave it all back. How many of these trades did you need to get your one and done that we actually took? It is not an oscillation detector. It detects, it's a volatile trend line based on price and another volatile trend line based on implied volatility. You've only needed one of these trades that we took to be done. And we're all the way at 1 o'clock. So can you afford to be picky if you only need one trade? I mean, 30 points? Crap. All right, we'll go a little bit further here. If they're along there, nope. Is that? Just trying to make sure I don't. Still don't like this. It's a long. I mean, it took off. So let's look at this a little bit. You didn't take it because it's in a lot of crap. It bust out of the crap zone. And it pulls down right here. You're out of one dev again. You can have an LRE. Are you going to take an LRE into a one dev? Yes or no? If you got 10 points, yes. If you don't, no. Okay, so if you're like 3 points away, no. So an LRE is a lower risk entry. So if you're within 2 points of, on a pullback, on a simplicity, if you're within 2 points of the solid line, and we're right within 2 points. So let's see, 66 to 76, we do have 10 points. So boom, there's your 10 points on an LRE. Hey, Dennis, submit a ticket so Black can help you out. Okay, we'll get you taken care of. Don't know what's going on, but he's very good at taking care of everybody. So it's going up, going up, going up, going up. Would have been a wonderful trade if you would have had the foresight, but it's okay. All right, now we got a short that we're looking for. Because we had a nice, clean run. By the way, that would have been a long, but right into a dev again. And that is a short right there below the dev. But would have got you. Now there's a long above the dev, which I like. So if we go back here, let me go back to it. We're above, the deviation is down here, and we have a long. We haven't had a lot of chop, so we got some room to go up, probably to this 0.5. Take profit. Was that enough? 29.99 to 38. 38 points. I'll have it up tonight. It kept going. Now we're looking for a potential short. Now we got one literally right below the dev. The entry would have to break. It didn't break. Now we got a short down here. And it didn't, we're not below our entry. Our entry was right there. So our stop is way up here. I actually took this trade when I came back from the house later in the day. And we're down to the point, the one dev again. Get out. So DM, what I'm getting out of this is the choppy market indicator explained. Simplicity based, yes. It's exactly what it is. Simplicity is a system that we developed out, me and John developed out of choppy market warning. And by the way, on this trade, where we got in below the dev, went from 64.50 down to 79.50. 264.50, so 80 points. The settings are built in automatically to the template. So if I right click on it and go to indicator, Go to choppy market warning. Shows 0.75, and I have VXN. Now you have to change this symbol if you're doing it on like Dow or S&P. You do VIX for S&P, at VXD, I believe, for the Dow. So this trade had a stop 63 with its stop at 22. So it had like a 50-point stop, hence why you trade micros. And this is a system that is very good for these fast markets if you're picky and if you trade small. Okay? So did everybody learn something out of today? Like, was it worth being on? This can't be placed on the Wealth Charts platform yet. Probably sometime this year. But if you sign up for Apex Trader Funding, we do give you a free key to Ninja. Awesome. So y'all got a lot out of it. Okay, I'm going to put this on YouTube and Facebook, and it'll get on the website sometime tomorrow. So it ought to be uploaded here in the next 30 minutes. So if you want to watch it or watch it again, okay? Do I have any other questions before we wrap up the webinar again? ApexInvesting.com. Free trial. You need the gold membership, which you can upgrade for free. And then Facebook.com/Apex Investing and YouTube.com/Apex Investing to check out market review videos. Can you do simplicity in the evening? Yes, but the same stuff applies. You got to look left. You got to see if you're getting choppy market warning. One thing I noticed when I came in and looked at the evening, really choppy. See that? Just super choppy. So now if you had a trade like this, go up, target the dev, get out. Down here, you're playing with fire. Over here, you don't have any room to the dev. Over here again, it goes up to that point and then hits the dev. Yeah, so stay out of the chop on the left. Why does it work on tick-based charts? Because indice data does not come in tick-based, so it won't work. You can try it on YM. I know a lot of people do and they like it. I prefer, I only trade it on NQ. I do know people who trade it. One more time on the delayed data for 60 days, please. If you've already, for the delayed billing, if you've signed up for the trial and you want to get access to simplicity, if you sign up for the gold for silver pricing under the menu at the top, it says sign up for any plan or product. You can then submit a ticket and say, hey, I activated my membership early. Can you go ahead and add on the free time and we'll delay your billing so you still get your full 60 days. Let's see here. I said VXD for the Dow. CL, I don't trade it on CL, so you would need to pull up the chart. OVX is the symbol. I just traded on NASDAQ, so I can't really recommend it on anything else. I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but I would pull up the symbol and I would do a walkthrough just like I just did. Just go back and look at like the last 5 days. You got to look 5 days. Look back at the last 5 days and go through and see if you can read it. Yeah, all the setup for this is in a video under setups. It's the last setup section of setups. Yeah, you're still going to need IQ feed. And you don't, some people go for Kinetic because it's like $20 cheaper. Don't do that. Okay? The reason I tell you that is Kinetic is a white label of IQ feed. Nothing wrong with it, but it's a white label. which means when you submit a ticket, it goes through email, and then they have to ask IQ Feed, and then IQ Feed has to reply to them, and then they reply to you. Whereas IQ Feed, you can chat with them directly on their website. And trust me, when you have a problem with data, which is rare, but when you have it, it's worth the $20. It's worth the $240 a year. And once you get this down, and you got some room and you cushion, then you can get up to minis. And then multiple minis. Yeah, Jeff says he had a major issue with IQ Feed, and they figured out it was a Logitech issue. How many minis are safe for eval? If you're trading this, if you're trading simplicity in these markets, I'm going to tell you don't even trade minis, trade micros. So yeah, you can do this in the Apex Trader Funding eval, but again, trade micros. If you have the issue that Jeff had was he had Logitech mouse software, which conflicts with a port for IQ Feed, and he had to remove it. How many micros? Do 1 until you're sufficient, and then do 2, and then do 3. Like your first goal is to trade well, then work on making money. If you got zigzag lines, which do happen, just hit F5. You do not want to program this for automation. You got to look left. It's just not programmable. That's why I have not let our programmers program it. Yeah, clear your cache, reset your database, all that fun stuff. The automation for Sniper is already programmed. There's not any additional programming. The one just now, let me see. Yeah, that's would have been a great one to go to the dev. So right here, it's angling up. Go long, target the dev, get out. Exactly. And I mean, you would have made about 12 points on that. 14 points. All right, I'm going to wrap up the webinar. We went a little long, but I hope everybody really enjoyed it. And I will see y'all in the trading room tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Thank you.